But there's so much noise drowning out the news. Talking heads, broadcast messages, press releases. They're telling you their side, but you just want the facts. And that's why you come to me. I give you the statistics without spin. Out of 116 million working age Nigerians, 35.5 million are employed full-time. That's 30%. I give you the context. I give you the history. I fight fake news with facts.
Kayode. No, Kayode, I will let you talk. Kayode, I will let you talk if you let me talk. Kayode.
That's why more and more Lagosians are tuning in.
500,000 Lagosians.
720,000.
970,000.
Over 1 million Lagosians. They know that if you give me your afternoon, I will give you hard facts.
Well done, Sandra, on all you do, going beyond the headlines and focusing on the facts.
I am Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts.
Hello, Lagos. Good afternoon. I am Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts. First hard fact of the day: Hilda Baci is officially a Guinness World Record holder. Don't take my word for it. Let me play you footage from Guinness themselves handing that award over to Hilda Baci.
Current record stands at 87 hours and 45 minutes. Here at GWRHQ, we have recently been reviewing the evidence submitted by Chef Hilda Baci for her attempt at the longest cooking marathon by an individual. The current record stands at 87 hours and 45 minutes and was achieved by Lata Tondon in India in 2019. This is a challenging record with strict rules that must be followed throughout. Including, there must be at least 2 items being prepared or cooked at any time. And the number, name and weight of each cooked item must be submitted with the evidence. Hilda fulfilled all of these rules. However, anyone attempting a marathon record receives 5 minutes break for every hour that they complete. This is to allow suitable rest breaks for the participants due to the prolonged nature of these records. In this case, there was a miscalculation when it came to Hilda's rest breaks, meaning we are unable to award the 100 hours claimed. I can now announce that with a time of 93 hours and 11 minutes, Hilda Baci is the new holder for the Guinness World Records title for longest cooking marathon. Congratulations, you are officially amazing.
Pays, following the rules and guidelines. Pays. Congratulations to her and well done. Second hard fact of the day. If you like Bomo, the federal government says right now Bomo is dangerous. This is dangerous. I am bad girl, sir. Do you know that song? Okay. Anyways, the federal government says Bomo is now too dangerous for you to eat. They are saying that there is an outbreak of anthrax in some neighboring countries within the West Africa sub-region. So Nigerians are strongly advised to desist from consumption of Bomo or smoked meat or bush meat because they pose serious risk until the situation with the anthrax outbreak is under control. 1 million Lagosians listen to this show. If each one of you tells another person to not eat bomo or bush meat or any of the other sorts of meats that we enjoy here, perhaps we will not have an outbreak here in Nigeria on our hands. Thank you for tuning into today's show. I've got a great show for you. Let's talk about the National Assembly Principal Officer elections. Then let's talk about Senator Bulkachiwa confessing that Justice Bulkachiwa lets him influence her. And then let's talk about the Student Loan Act. On Community U Report, the big heart, Chukudi will be here with you, bringing you stories from your community. And on the big hard fact, let's talk about the new principal officers of the 10th National Assembly. On today's Step Down, I want to talk about parents who refuse to let their children have blood transfusions for religious reasons. Let's have that conversation. I have a very interesting case to present to you on the Step Down today at 6:15. As usual, we'll have news updates at the top of the hour every hour. But let's get started with today's Big Three. Lagos, I am Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts.
This is the Big Three.
The Big Three.
On Hard Facts. On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Did lawmakers pick the best principal officers? Should the NJC take action based on Senator Bulkachiwa's allegations about his wife? What will implementation of the Student Loan Act look like? Those are your Big Three. Lagos, let's talk. Godswill Akpabio has emerged Senate President. That's our first story. Today, the Red Chamber sat to elect its principal officers, and Akpabio beat Abdulaziz Yari 63-46. The Senate has also chosen a deputy president, Jibrin Barao. He was initially running for Senate president until he met with Tinubu and Akpabio and agreed to switch to the deputy race. Barao ended up unopposed because Odjus Akalu pulled out from the race yesterday. Akpabio was, of course, Bola Tinubu's favorite candidate, and Barao also aligned with Tinubu. So clearly, Tinubu and his allies have done enough to get their way in the Senate. Same way Buhari was able to do it in 2019, but was unable to do it in 2015. The question, of course, is what's going to happen next. We know, of course, that also in the House of Reps, the elections are underway. In the House of Reps, we currently have a speaker as well, and we also have a deputy speaker of the House. I'm going to get into the details of who those are in a bit. But Godswill Akpabio will be the next Senate president. In fact, I believe that they are currently being sworn in at the moment, or they were sworn in a few hours ago. Yeah, I'm curious about how you think Senate President Akpabio will perform. Because he's coming off a 4-year stint as Niger Delta minister. If you remember, as minister, he appeared many times in front of the National Assembly, which he now leads. During one of those panels, he had that famous off your mic exchange. And now we've got Akpabio on the other side of the table, where other people might be asked by committees that he is president over to off their mics. Do you think the insinuations he made about how lawmakers demand patronage will reflect in the way that he runs the Senate? 0700-993-993-993 01465-7190. What do you think about the fact that we now have a new leadership at the National Assembly? So we've got a new Senate President and we've got a new leader of the House. So in the House, Benjamin Kalu is the Deputy Rep Speaker. Benjamin Kalu from Imo State, a House of Reps member from Imo State, from Abia State. So he's a Deputy Speaker of the 9th Assembly. And he's taking over from Idris Wase. And of course, Tajuddin Abbas is the Speaker of the House now. So we now have our number 3, number 4, and number 5 and 6 men, respectively. 99.3, hello. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good morning, sir.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir?
My name is John.
Welcome.
How things, my sister? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. Do you want to talk to me about the National Assembly leaders?
In short, that's Abadio. If it is a country who really want to fight corruption, I, John, will not support Ababio to be the Senate President. Okay. Because I remember off your mic. With that one will show you whether there's a corruption in Nigeria or not.
Okay.
If it is a country who wants to fight corruption, that man cannot be in that position. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. We appreciate it, John. 99.3, hello.
Hello, Sandra.
How you doing?
Very well, and you?
I'm okay. What's your name, sir?
Yeah, good afternoon. Emeka is my name from Satellite Town.
Welcome, Emeka. Talk to me.
I weep for the kind of democracy that we practice now, my sister. A situation where we now have anointed candidates of Mr. President winning positions in the National Assembly.
But that's always been the case.
That is the problem. We are not interested in any paradigm shifts, and so how can we strengthen our institutions? There is a reason why we have the separate arms of government. There's a reason why we have the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature and the judiciary. The very, very tenets of why we have those separate arms of government is now being undermined. We know that how the 9th Assembly works. It was more of a rubber stamp. And now we're having another assembly that has the anointing of the president. I'm not after the characters involved, albeit that even the person himself, like the Senate President, has questions to answer. Hitherto that has not been resolved. But we can say that he did well while he was governor in Akwa State, but since he assumed the office of the NDC, there's been lots of questions which have remained unresolved till now. And today he's the Senate President. So that tells you the kind of 10th National Assembly will be having. One that will be more than a rubber stamp. It doesn't spell well for democracy. I don't think we're making any progress at all. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. We appreciate it. 99.3, hello.
Hello, Madam Sandra. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. What's your name?
Yeah. This is Ike calling from Lekki Phase 1.
Welcome, Ike. Talk to me.
I tell you, this crop of politicians we have nowadays, it is only God that will deliver the masses from them. At times I ask myself question, why is it that it is the wrong people that keep progressing? It's just unfortunate. Why more Akpabio of all popular, off your mic. Both the president and the Senate President, they have nothing to offer this country, to be frankly speaking. If there is any way, in short, you will see the best Senate President and all this from, you see the highest corruption, and you see the corruption, the way these people we mess up things. Short.
All right. Thanks for calling. 99.3.
Hello.
How you doing, sir?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir?
Yeah, okay, you have Spy on the line.
Talk to me.
Well, sincerely, it's quite laughable. Sandra, if I may ask, it's quite laughable, yeah. And like I already pointed out, it has been the tradition. Sincerely, left to me, I could have loved it since we are in democracy. I could have loved it to be an independent kind of Senate leadership that we have. But, I mean, the template has been there all along. The question is that at one point will this thing change? You know, why I would want to take side is that even if some of us now that are saying it, the question we need to ask ourselves is that, are we going to change the narrative? Fine. There's the fact that everybody always wants to have a seamless corporations and running of affairs. You don't want anybody that will give you problem in kind of, whatever thing that you need to do. But at least, if truly we really want to serve people, the interest of people, should be the topmost than this speculation, maybe idea. Well, that's what we could do anyway, other than to just say good luck to them, and let's use your platform, another platform also, to hear our voice and let them hear. I'm sure they are listening.
All right, thank you very much for calling by 99.3. Hello.
Sandra. Hello?
Hello, what's your name, sir?
Sandra. This is Malik speaking.
Malik, welcome. What's your
And I would not hammer. As far as the president, more money is allocated for more contracts. So we don't know, but we'll spend more.
Okay.
Sandra, Akpabio, as a person, is a good person. Akpabio will deliver. But you know what problem? Everything will be times 6 when it comes to project or jobs. That's Akpabio's job. He will deliver the work, but he will chop well. That one is for sure.
Okay.
Do you understand me? But the problem we're having is this. We will keep recycling the same product. Do we expect something good? Thank you very much, Sandra.
All right, Malik, thank you very much for calling. Of course, now we've got our second story that I want you to get your teeth into as well. For our second story, I'm staying in the Senate now. Senator Bulkachiwa says that he has repeatedly influenced decisions made by his wife, Justice Bulkachiwa. She was a justice of the appeal court until she retired in 2020. Her husband is a senator. And her husband was speaking during the valedictory session of the 9th Senate. And here is what he had to say.
Particularly my wife, whose freedom and independence I encroached upon while she was in office. And she has been very tolerant and accepted my encroachment and extended her help to my colleagues.
Distinguished, please, I don't think this is a good idea going this direction. It's not a good idea. It's not a good idea, please.
That's Ahmed Lawan speaking there, that this direction Senator Bulkachiwa was going in was not a good idea. He was referring, of course, to Zainab Bulkachiwa, who was president of the Court of Appeal. And as you can hear, then Senate President Ahmed Lawan was trying to stop him from saying anything more because in Lagos, there are serious implications to what he did say. Judges and justices are supposed to be beyond influence. Nobody should be able to tell a judge what to do about any aspect of their job. And in the context of who Bulkachiwa is, his statement becomes even more serious. He talked about influencing her on behalf of his colleagues. His colleagues are, of course, fellow senators. So, in what ways would senators want help from a sitting appeal court justice? What should happen here? What should happen next? Are Bulkachiwa's words enough to warrant an investigation? Should there be a review of cases at the appeal court involving Bulkachiwa's colleagues? Should the NJC step in here? The lawyers that I know all seem to think that that's what should happen next. The whole whole thing is very shocking, especially because in the past, Justice Bulkachiwa herself came out to say that she and her husband never discuss politics. She said politicians are banned from their house because of her job. For Justice Bulkachiwa to make those claims in public, it is because she understood that it would be unacceptable for her to be seen doing favors for her husband's colleagues and his friends. She understood that, and she wanted people to understand that. She understood that people would assume that they talk about stuff like that in the house. So she felt the need to come out and say, nope, we don't talk about politics. But now, the husband has come out to contradict her in public, on camera, on the floor of the Senate. I'm sure you've seen this video for yourself, but if you haven't, let me play again what he said. And then we'll take a break, and then we'll be right back.
Particularly my wife, whose freedom and independence I encroached upon while she was in office. And she has been very tolerant and accepted my encroachment and extended her help to my colleagues.
Distinguished, please, I don't think this is a good idea going this
Season just got bigger for you. Yes, you the audience. You can win a one-bedroom apartment just by watching the Big Family Dream TV show in our home play contest. Head on to www.bufferstudios.com now and click on home play to find out how. Also, follow all our social media handles at Big Family Dream, and you're on your way to winning a brand new one-bedroom apartment. You can also register your family for the next season of the Big Family Dream, the show where all your dreams can come true. Show 30 p.m. TVC, Sundays, 6 p.m. STV, Sunday Bar. Please on by Agent Gage Band PLC, association with White Foods and Life Mates Nigeria.
Get up to 5 million naira instant loans when you need it most. Visit www.pagefinancials.com or call 01-700-7243.
Take charge of what you hear and when to listen.
All at your convenience. It's there on our mobile app and website.
Download the mobile app on iOS and Play Store or visit www.nigeriainfo.fm.
99.3. Let's talk. We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
What do you think should happen next with this revelation by Senator Bulkachiwa? 99.3, hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir?
My name is...
Your name is? Oh, that's unfortunate. You're going to have to give us a call back. Your connection isn't very clear. 99.3?
Hey, my friend, President.
Good to have you on the show, sir. What's your name?
President Sandra.
Welcome. What's your name, sir?
Chris, any President, okay. This is Chris, your senior special advisor.
Welcome, Chris. Talk to me.
I was telling my colleague in the morning, the Bulkachiwa, no, the speaker, Abbas, right?
Okay.
We mad. Akpabio, we mad. Because you hear some of us will call and say, no, party loyalty. Rather than loyal to the country. Look at the setting now. You hear what Emeka said. Where do we start from? The only person I can see that is a little bit the deputy speaker. Something Carlo, right?
Ben Carlo.
But look at the rest. Ndume said we don't ask questions. Salaki was there. Everybody was Salaki no let Buhari work. Salaki no let Buhari work. Look at the Senate president now. Oh, you don't need to go that route. President Sandra, you asked what next, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hello, President Sandra.
What should happen next? Yes.
That woman should be arrested. And I want to thank that Senator Bulkachiwa for his honesty. That woman should be arrested, and they should revisit all the cases that woman handled. Thank you, President Sandra.
All right, thank you very much for calling us. 99.3, hello. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for calling. What's your name, ma'am?
Market woman.
Welcome. Talk to me.
Oh my God, these people, If you complain, say this our leader, Oh, some people say, not our leader, not our leader. Which example they are giving the youth now? What kind of example? The wife have been helping them, have been supportive. For what now? I say when I hear the announcement of Senate president today, it's like something left my enemy body, not be my own. Because that will pain me, Sandra. Because these people, the way they want to continue, I don't know. Because people are saying the thing will help them. I don't know. Let me just sit down and be watching. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for calling Market Woman 99.3. Hello.
Hello. Good morning, Sister Sandra.
How you doing, sir?
Yes, I'm James Daniel Agasi, calling from Maradagu Badagry.
Welcome. Talk to me.
Sometimes God use these people to review how they are doing. Actually, this is the system in Nigeria, but what are we going to do? They have said this is their turn, and it's very hard for we youth to command them, but one day they are going to get out from the state. But I think I prefer than Carlo, who is trying in a chamber. Because he has opened his mouth and said this is the turn, it's not the turn of Igbo for president. Then what is he looking for the presidency as a senator? So it's not his.
Unfortunately, the connection to you isn't very clear. By the way, I heard very sad news about Koboko Master's father. I haven't heard from him in a while, and one of the listeners told me that something serious may be wrong. So if anyone knows how I can reach Koboko Master, please let me know. I would like to reach out to him and make sure he's okay, since we haven't heard from him in a while. 99.3, hello.
Hello, this is Moses.
Moses, welcome. Talk to me.
Moses.
Yes, Moses, welcome. Talk to me.
You mean that it's only these old politicians that will be put in position? Hello, ma.
Okay.
Akpabio was the governor of Akwa Ibom State. Is it not for 8 years?
Yes.
And from PDP.
Yes.
Then from now, Buhari brought him back to APC and gave him position. I forgot the position. Now, Tinubu now is giving him a Senate president.
Yes.
How about the youth who went to university in this country? What position are they giving them?
Well, some of them are senators now.
The same old politicians from 1960 ruling this country, and that's why this country is like this. How are we going to move forward in this country?
All right, thank you very much for calling us. We've got messages on WhatsApp, so let me take a look at some of them. This one here says, Sandra, honestly, our politicians don't have the nation at heart. You can always buy any position in Nigeria with money. Imagine buying presidential form for 100 million. I wonder how much is Senate form, speaker, others. Honestly, we're running a country that we cannot be proud of. Fabio, that is supposed to be with EFCC or DSS by now, is Senate president. This country now, wow. All right, Salisu Ojo, thank you very much for your message. We've got Jonathan from Magboro who says, on Senator Bulkachiwa, I am not in any way surprised at all because we've heard much heart-rendering revelations than that. On nothing, I mean absolutely nothing will come out of what he has said, no matter the investigations. Senator Akpabio already has a case of corruption hanging on his neck. Senator Akpabio, as Niger Delta minister, what did he achieve if not off your mic? To me, Akpabio is going to be another rubber stamp Senate president. Degoke says, Sandra, as for God's will, Akpabio elected as president of the House, it doesn't excite me in any way because it's the same old people and corrupt politicians that have been ruling Nigeria from Adam. Same governors after their tenure as governors and ministers, they troop to the National Assembly so that they can retire and eat the outrageous money and jumbo salaries paid to the senators. They just keep recycling themselves. Where are the youths that Tinubu promised Nigerians he would include in governance? I feel so sad for Nigerians. Well, Tinubu hasn't made his appointments yet. That's number one. And while Tinubu had his preferred candidate for who should be Senate president, he did not make the senators vote for Senator Akpabio. For a Senate president to emerge, your colleagues in the Senate will vote for you. They will decide that you are the person that should get the ticket. So, for instance, in the House of Representatives, you had a few candidates who were up, and for Wase, he got 3 votes from his colleagues in the House of Reps. Gagdi got 3 votes from his colleagues. Tajuddin Abbas got 353 votes from his colleagues in the House of Reps and was elected Speaker of the 10th House of Representatives, and his deputy is Benjamin Kalu from Abia State. So at the end of the day, it is the senators and the House of Reps members themselves who will look at you and decide, okay, you're the one we want to lead us in these different houses or these different chambers. Now, as to President Bola Tinubu himself and inclusion of youth in his cabinet, he has not nominated ministers yet. He has asked for approval to announce a few special advisors. A little over 20 of them. He has asked for approval to do that. But again, we don't even know who those advisors are going to be. We don't know what their ages will be. So I think give it time before we start talking about, where are the youth? Let's give it some time. Especially because in the current National Assembly, we have a number of young people who got into the National Assembly for the very first time. We've got Greenish, who says, Comrade Koboko called Feta this morning. He was fighting them that he did not celebrate him on his birthday, so I think he's fine. Oh, great. I'm happy to hear that then. I'm glad to hear that. We've got CJ in Maryland, who says the Chief Judge of the Federation has not spoken about the revelations made by a Nigerian senator. I'm just tired of being a Nigerian. Kingsley Osage sent us a message where he says, imagine how many wrong judgments have been given, all because we have a lawmaker and a judge that cannot control themselves in order not to influence judgment. Well, so he wrote something that's a bit explicit. I cannot read what Kingsley wrote, but again, remember that these are husband and wife. We've got a Dozedin Naji who says Akpabio has emerged as the Senate president. In a more civilized climate, such persons will not be our Senate presidents. Are we as a people ready for development or democracy? We keep recycling these old guys and we think anything good will come out of it. They play. All right. We've got this final one and then I'll come back to the phone lines. Sandra, from one off your mic to another off your mic. So you cannot plant orange and harvest apple. So why have a Senate? Isn't it to checkmate the presidency and represent the people? In all this, where is the interest of the voters? We're judging. We're watching. I guess also I'm judging. All right, 99.3, hello.
Hello, good afternoon, Sandra.
Good afternoon, sir. What's your name?
This is Ibikule calling from...
Ibikule, welcome. Talk to me.
Oh, my goodness.
Ibikule, can you hear me? All right, doesn't look like you can hear me. Call me back if you can. 99.3.
Sandra, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. What's your name?
You have Chika speaking.
Chika, welcome. Talk to me.
I would say that we regret today, we are Nigerians. But one thing I'm bothered about is that these old people that have been there, they want to leave the government for even the youth to participate in anything. Look at what they are. I'm not against him being a Senate president. But sometimes, I don't know what they think. I think, sorry to use this word, that some of our leaders are not thinking. Fabio not supposed to be a president. If he begins to count the way he has lived in life and the other things he has committed, I won't say that he's bad or something, but at least he'll give you a chance.
Okay.
Are you following me?
I'm following you, yes.
No, I don't think that the Igbo region is included in Nigeria. I think there will be Biafra.
We have an
Sorry
Igbo,
to use the word.
we have an Igbo man as Deputy Senate President. Benjamin Kalu, representing a constituency in Abia State, Bende constituency in Abia State, is currently the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. That's a pretty big role. All right, Bola Tinubu has signed into law the Student Loan Act. That's our third story. This is a story that you've been following since morning. This act creates an education bank run by the federal government to give loans to students, which the students will pay back after they graduate and start working. The goal of this is to solve the funding problem in tertiary education. Currently, Nigeria solves the problem by keeping fees low in public schools. But because fees are low, the schools don't have enough money to deliver value. But if we increase the fees, Nigerians from poor homes will not be able to get an education. So that's where, in theory, student loans come in. If we can get loans to the poorest Nigerians, the universities can raise their fees. Everyone else pays those higher fees out of pocket, while the poor get loans and pay back when they start earning. So that's the theory. Can this new law deliver this in practice? Some of the provisions of this law are, like I mentioned, to set up a bank to handle these loans, the education bank. It's been pointed out, of course, that this board of that the board of this education bank is mostly made up of people from the education sector, so vice chancellors, education minister, etc., etc. In fact, the only finance people on the board are the finance minister and the accountant general of the federation. So there's a big question there: should the education bank be more education than bank? So that's a big question on my mind. Then there is selection. Obviously, the loans are only open to students who are currently admitted into school, who currently have an admission, right? Also, only students from families with less than 500,000 naira a year in income are eligible. So this raises a question: what mechanisms will the education bank put in place to confirm incomes? How easy or difficult is it for people to disguise income in order to access these loans? I guess with things like BVN, it could be very easy to take a look at somebody's credit, Then there's the matter of guarantors. The law says that students must get 2 guarantors, including a level 12 civil servant. There's now the question of whether the poorest Nigerians will have access to those types of guarantors. Now, of course, we have to talk about debt collection because we've had student loan schemes in the past and they failed. This thing that we're doing now with this new one, it's not new. We've tried it before. And they failed for 2 reasons. Number one, people, the wrong people got the loans. And number 2, the government could not catch those people and get the money back. So people were doing things in the past. People were doing things like giving the wrong name, the wrong address, all kinds of things. I think it's a bit harder to do now because of things like NIN and BVN. So with NIN and BVN, sure, we know your actual name and your actual bank accounts and stuff like that, but we still don't know your actual address because people move, people lie about where they live. So this new act, this revenue collection in this new act is supposed to be through employers. That's what this one is trying to do different. 2 years after your NYSC, you start repaying, right? So you report your employer and they start deducting 10% of your salary to repay the bank. If you're self-employed, then you need to give all your information to the bank. Now, question is, will the bank have the capacity to track all the debtors, make sure they have up-to-date information, both for repayment and for enforcement? That's for those that are even able to start a business 2 years post NYSC or get into employment, paid employment, formal employment 2 years post NYSC. So these are some of the initial issues that we need to think about, we need to talk about with the Student Loan Act. Of course, we're going to delve deeper into the provisions of this act sometime next week, maybe on Monday, and I'll have a few education and finance people on the show so that we can talk about if this is going to be feasible long term. But what are your thoughts? Lagos 0700 993 01465 Hello, thanks for calling us.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hello, Sandra.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. What's your name?
Okay, this is John.
John,
Okay.
welcome. Talk to me.
God bless you. In short, that loan, when many people in the morning are trying to call, I cannot be able to get the sheriff in the morning.
Okay.
You know, that loan, men look at it, it's not the first thing to do, because if you look at Nigeria today, how many people who have graduated over 10 years, no work? So in case if you took the loan, you come out after 5 years, then you have to pay the road, but after 2 years, you graduated, you have to pay the loan. And I learned that if you don't pay the loan, you will be charged to the court. Then you can even go 2 years imprisonment, or you are fined 500,000. If a man graduated, you don't have work, how can he be able to pay the loan? This is my question, my sister.
Okay, and it's a good question. Thank you so much for calling to ask that question. Now, of course, like I said, this loan, it's not everybody that will have access to it. It's not everyone, right? So while it means to provide loans to the poorest of Nigerians, there are provisions for who can get access to this. So it's people from families with less than 500,000 naira a year, right? So and the reason why they are making it available for people like that is that they understand, or the government understands, that it may be difficult for people to get a job. However, they also know that it's probably not impossible, especially if you know that you have a loan hanging over your head. So I don't know. To be honest, I don't have an answer to that question. I really don't. 99.3, hello.
Sandra.
How you doing? What's your name?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am Ezedum from school.
Welcome, Ezedum.
Sandra, I'll be laughing now.
Why?
Senator Bulkachiwa. You see, he was saying what he did in Senate, that he encroached. You see, Sandra. You see, laugh cannot kill me. You see, Senator Buka and Senator Mabio. You see, his statement is equivalent to what Akpabio said. Off your mic, you cannot blame Akpabio. Akpabio want to explain how some members of National Assembly benefited from Niger Delta Development Fund. But because of he want to expose them, they told him, off your mic, off your mic. So if Akpabio want to expose them, will you blame Akpabio for trying to expose them? I think his emergence is good, because as an uncommon governor who performed excellent when he was the governor, he did well as a governor. In the history of Niger Delta, it was when Akpabio became the minister that abandoned projects, hundreds of abandoned projects, he completed them. I commend him for that. I commend him. He will do well as a Senate president. I wish him well. But for Senator Buka, he encroached. We will talk this again, though. It never ends. Yugoslav cannot kill me here.
All right, thank you very much. Let's take a look at messages on WhatsApp now. Sandra, to me, the student loan is a welcome development, but in addition, job opportunities after graduation should be an added advantage, so the loan can be settled afterwards. That's Adebola with that message there. Adebola, thank you very much. Ugo in Surulere says, Sandra, the Student Loan Act is already a failure because we have an erroneous credit culture. Evaluate the performance levels of all the intervention schemes from the CBN and all you see is failure. What will happen with this loan is that those who need it will not get it, and those who get it won't pay it back, and there will be no consequences and accountability. All right, thanks for your message. We've got this one here, another confession, another off your mic. They don't talk about politics in their house, only sports, entertainment, and food festival. Some of the judges in Nigeria have turned the court into a marketplace where they secretly hawk judgments for sale. A Senate president who did not contest in an election, Abracadabrally, became the winner via a magical judgment. That is why the politicians will tell you go to court. Ms. Zainab's judgment should be investigated and she should be arrested. But what would happen in Nigeria where illegality seems to be legal? This is why I don't hold any of these honorables in high regards. We all know that the judges have two judgments at their back pockets, and Bulkachiwa has come out to prove our suspicions. It's like these people are competing on who can disgrace Nigeria the most. All right. Thanks for your message. We've got Bahome who says student loans can work if it's attached to BVN and NIN for personal and business accounts. No passport for you if you want to travel out without paying. Yeah, things have changed from 1971. We've got Greenish who says President Bat's goal is to give schools autonomy, which will automatically end ASU and ASUP strike. School fees is going to be raised. Students should know this. All right. We've got Patrick Abel from Akute who says default will be the order of the day. The idea is good, but the penalty may just be inevitable for many. Let it not be the case of biting the finger that puts honey in your mouth, because the abuse of the system will be that. All right. We've got Chris from Accra who says, Sandra, what do you think will happen after the revelation by Senator Bulkachiwa? Me, absolutely nothing. It's nothing new except the owners of Nigeria now have an axe to grind with the senator or his wife, aka he said Allah Emefiele's current imbroglio. On Koboko, I heard him call Vaughn's show on Sunday and spoke for 3 minutes. I believe he's okay. All right, great. I'm glad. Second person now. We've got you didn't leave your name, but you say, Sandra, I will continue to eat more, make it kill me. After the past June 12 speech on democracy threatening the judiciary, it doesn't surprise me anymore. Any jaga-jaga that will happen in these corridors of power, like emergence of criminals and people with diseased consciences to run such a big country as Nigeria. Wicked people are now running Nigeria, and Nigerians are just always there ranting and looking and moving on. Now, Nasabio, Nigerians, you didn't leave your name, but thanks for your message. We've got this one here, Sandra. Politicians can only appoint who will do what they want, not by competence. That's Sunny from Sparko in Lekki. All right, Sunny, thank you for your message. Let me take one final call and then we'll take a break. Hi. Good afternoon. What's your name?
I'm Chika calling back.
Chika, thank you for calling. Talk to me.
Yes, the first caller spoke in my mind. When you said that is the I think we have enough applicants graduated and looking for work. So I think it's another tragedy when you have given someone a loan and after the schooling he hasn't gotten work. Maybe it's a way to put somebody in problem. I think they have to provide work for us first. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Chika, for calling. Now, of course, the government will not provide work. The government will, can, however, provide an enabling environment for private people to get into business, and if those private businesses are successful, then they can create jobs. You know, the time of government providing work, that era has passed. We'll be right back. Don't go away, Lagos.
The round table is back.
I recall that the former Minister for Interior, Abdulrahman Dambazao, said that people go in as dogs and come out as lions.
I don't think the Nigerian government actually took the time to look at it from a holistic perspective.
And it's just really painful because it seems as though that, with every new government, we tend to miss the previous government.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. What's your name?
This is Azu from Ajao.
Azu from Ajao, welcome. Talk to me.
Yes, this loan though, is it for the poor masses, I mean for the rich people?
It's for the poor masses.
Because somebody who is on 25,000 naira, like a security man who is on 30,000 naira minimum wage, that is about 360,000, who is not up to the 500,000 naira they are saying that qualify him to get that loan. Have you thought of that one?
Well, they're saying less than 500,000.
Less than 500,000.
Yes.
Okay, so if that person now, after getting that money and he finish his school and he couldn't get a job, and he's not unable to pay that money, what will happen? They'll take him to prison.
Yes.
So if that one not better for him to go and spend 2 years in prison and come back, will they still asking for the money? No, I'm just asking now. Because there is no job. If you have attached job to it, fine. That person can work, but there is no job attached to it. That person will just prefer to go and stay in the prison for 2 years and come back. Maybe a new government can come and say, okay, let's release them. Who lose?
We lose, Azu says. Azu, thanks for calling. 99.3.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name, ma'am?
I'm Emma Edem.
Emma Edem, welcome. Talk
calling
to me.
from Ota.
Welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah. What I want to say is about the new Senate president.
Mm-hmm.
Well, since Nigeria is just our governments are just taking us for granted. No problem. Though Akpabio is good to go because Akpabio is working. Because of Akpabio, we can see good things in Akwa Ibom State.
Okay.
So with Akpabio being there, the Umahia Road, Kalabaitu Road, all those places, I believe, with him there and other states like this Ota, no good road, with him there, I believe, is going to work. Allocation will be given to contractors that will be doing this work. So I congratulate him for being the Senate president.
Okay. Thank you very much for calling. We've got a final message that I'll take a look at here on WhatsApp from Vincent. Vincent says, President Bola Tinubu is just churning out these mouth-watering but impracticable policies just to win the hearts of gullible Nigerians and receive empathy in respect of his case at the Elections Tribunal, period. Woo! Strong words from Vincent. Okay, do we have time for me to sneak another message in? Yes, we do. We've got this one here. TY from Ikorodu. TY says, Sandra, student loan is foul play. They'll be able to pay back. Scholarship would have been, they'll not be able to pay back. Scholarship would have been a better option. I'm a civil servant. They've not even paid my arrears or given me staff letter. And they want to do students loan. Our political system is funny. All right, TY from Ikorodu. Thank you very much for your message. We've got this one here from Grandma K. Grandma K says the case of Senator Bulkachiwa is shameful and the level of impunity in Nigeria is embarrassing. All right, let's bring you business news. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. Don't go away.
It's 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock.
And I want to assume that you would run because I want to give the listeners context for the conversation.
In 2019, you were running mate to Atiku Abubakar. What did you learn then that you will not repeat this time?
Yes, when is the president coming out to address us?
There's a few things. One, I have a burden and a passion for young people.
The fact that you have elected a man does not mean then you begin to order him around. The president will do whatever is good for the country at any given time.
Mr. Adeshino, isn't the president responsible to the people?
What should the next president do to root out stakeholders who are complicit?
You fire those. Those that need to be fired are fired.
It's looking like a brand new Chelsea, attacking with so much fluidity. And what can you say about that, Martin? I know you follow Chelsea quite closely.
I live close to the Chelsea training ground. That's what you mean by that. I'm not a